But make sure you've got water. Make sure if you have any contraindications in your body that you know about, take these few minutes to stretch out those specific spots. For me, I have really tight hamstrings. So prior to the stream, I always try to do some hamstring exercises, get things loosened up, especially through the ankles. If you're like me and that's your endeavor today, here are my two favorite hamstring stretches. So you can take yourself all the way to a wall, bringing your ankles about hip width distance. You're probably going to not be able to bend forward with your ankles all the way against the wall. So the way you check that is call neutrality into your spine. Tuck your hips slightly forward, your tailbone down, and then press your butt against the wall. However much distance your booty has that your ankles don't, step a few steps forward until there's a natural line down through your hips. This is where you're going to want to bend your knees. You can sink forward as much as you need to. If you want to go all the way down, to bring your hands to the floor, and then back your booty right back into the wall. You can put as much of a bend into your legs as you need for this. The goal is to eventually walk out and straighten your hamstrings, but you can kind of bounce into that. Just bending your knees forward, pushing them back. It's personally my favorite hamstring exercise. I do that almost every day in the shower because my hamstrings lock so easily. The other one is very common for yoga. You'll take a downward dog and just pedal out your ankles, pushing your heels to the floor. You can relax the form in the front of the body if you're just pedaling it out. But otherwise, just taking downward dog, putting as much of a bend in the knees as you need, pushing back, rocking your ankles forward. Just pushing through the ankle, attempting to create that straight line from the hips down to the floor, but just stretching it out. So we've got ample room. Oh, that felt really good. Those are my two favorite hamstring stretches, and like immediately afterwards I can always feel the difference. Otherwise you can always just take a forward fold or a seated forward fold. Those are also really powerful for stretching out the hamstrings. We've got 3 minutes till we get started with our Vinyasa flow for tonight. This is our Energize and Glow Vinyasa. So this is meant to pump some energy into you, give you some enrichment, and then give you the body space and the, it sounds funny, but the energy to be restorative with the rest of your evening. Taking time for yourself. If you have friends and family that you're seeing, this will hopefully give you a little energy rise to take that all in stride and the rest of your week. But making sure you have water. Today's class will not use any props unless you want them. Then I'll give a modification for bringing blocks into a few different asana today. Check in stream chat. But yeah, taking this time, we've got only like 2 minutes left, but if you have any special stretches that you like to do, if you don't, you can just make sure that you've got the wiggles out of your body, maybe do a few jumps in place. One of my favorite, like weird, not even weird because it is traditional, but one of my newest favorite, I guess, general warm-ups, I just need like blood flowing in my body, is just a seat. You just scoop your arms forward as you bend as far down as you want or as you can. And it's crazy how like just 10 of these, you'll come up and be like, oh cool, I can do things now. It's a really good just micro workout for getting your blood flowing, getting your brain reactivated in a moment. Body Adderall. All right, well, we will start to get started here. So if you're new here, this is the Monday Night Reset. The format here is 10 to 15 minutes of seated or standing yoga for our friends who are here, who are also streaming, want an opportunity to take some time for themselves, just being able to take that 10 to 15 minutes, also just anyone who only has 10 to 15 minutes for themselves today, we're learning to grow into our time for ourselves and really being able to express gratitude for ourselves. And that's what this weekly class is all about. The following 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes to finish out the half hour is today going to be Vinyasa yoga flows. Today we are working on Energize and Glow, energizing the body to give us that full relief when we finally hit corpse pose and we can actually just shut the brain off. A different approach to the restorative effects of yoga without actually tapping into the restorative style. And it is 6 o'clock, so we will get started. Today, you can either join us from standing, seated, if you're just pushing back in your chair. I'll be giving some modifications for those in chair, but today I'll be taking our warm-up, our first 10 minutes here from an easy seat. So just settling down, getting in contact points with your sit bones and floor, really understanding where those are. Let me start to engage the Ujjayi breath. This breath comes in through the nose and out through the nose, raising the tongue and creating just a little bit of texture in the back of the throat as we inhale and exhale. The Ujjayi breath fosters warmth in the core, as well as helps us get through those postures where we wobble, we have a hard time keeping our balance. This breath is a lifeline to come back to. If at any moment during this practice you get too hot, feel free to take some open mouth exhales. This will cool you down really quickly. You can also come back to this easy seat at any time or take a child's pose, but do know that taking a child's pose is going to build heat in your chest still. We'll go into a seated Tadasana at attention, drawing the hands to the sky, shrugging the shoulders down the back, spreading our fingers as wide as we possibly can, drawing width across the collarbones, knitting the ribcage together. If you're seated in a chair, drawing your knees together and creating some pressure between your thighs. We inhale, spreading the arms into a cactus, drawing width across the shoulders, keeping those fingers as wide as we can, and giving a slight back bend, opening our chest to the sky. You may get some snap, crackle, pops right at the base of your neck. We inhale the hands back up to Tadasana. Exhale. Inhale, reaching forward into a seated forward fold. If you're in a chair, your stomach can rest right on your thighs. If you want more out of your forward fold, then try to hover just above. Really working on inhaling to lengthen the spine, exhaling to fold closer to the floor. If your hands out are uncomfortable for any reason, you can also set them on the floor and isometrically pull yourself forward into that forward fold. Inhale, arms all the way up, back to attention. Exhale. Inhale, we're going to take a side stretch. If you're seated in a chair with arms, feel free to rest your hand, your arm on that rest. If you're seated in an easy seat, take your hand out on the floor, running parallel with your mat. And engage the side stretch, opening the chest towards your screen. If you chose to take this warm-up standing, you can also knit your hands above your head before engaging the twist. We inhale back to seated Tadasana. Exhale onto the other side. Every inhale, we work on opening our chest towards our screens, towards the front of the classroom, so to speak. With every exhale, we work on lengthening, rounding into that side body stretch. Inhale back to seated Tadasana. One last little cactus back bend. Inhaling back up to seated Tadasana. And exhaling into a forward fold. Inhale, leaving our hands either trailing on the ground or just losing a little bit of control in them, rolling the back up to an easy seat, bringing our spines back to neutrality. We've just bent the spine in the 6 directions that we can, twisting in 2 directions, front and back, and lateral side to side. This is where I bid adieu to those of us just here for a streaming break. Thank you so much for coming. I, of course, will always welcome you for the rest of class. Today we're going into our Energize and Glow section of our Vinyasa practice today. So we'll be hopefully building up a little bit of a sweat here. For those of us staying, you can take a stand, roll slowly up, take your time getting to the top of your mat. I'm actually going to take this going this way today. Up at the top of our mats, we're going to bring our toes together, our heels apart, just slightly, kind of rocking back and forth into the standing posture. Inhaling the hands up into Tadasana, mountain pose. And exhaling, step with your left foot towards the back of your mat, bringing your foot angled to the front left side of your mat, and spinning your hands out to be parallel with the floor. Your arms drawing a straight line from tip to tip. Moving our feet into similar lanes, the back of our front right heel should line up with the middle of our left foot, which is again bent towards the front left side of our mat. Bringing a 90-degree bend into this front foot. Yeah, well. This is Warrior 2. Welcome and embrace it. We're working on isometrically bringing our feet together, trying to scrunch up the mat in between our feet if we can. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, reverse that warrior, drawing our right hand's palm to face the sky, drawing a straight line from our hips through to our hand, all the way up to the sky, and comfortably resting our left hand on our back thigh, making sure we maintain that front bend, keeping our legs exactly in the position they were in Warrior 2. Inhale, set your hands back, or your arms back to that straight line. We're moving into extended wide angle. Shift your weight forward through to that front hand, and then bend your hands to be a straight line from your right heel all the way up to the sky. You can rest your hand on the floor. This is an opportunity to use a block, and either gaze down at your right hand or up at your left. If you're not a balance inclined person, gazing down will be easier. Inhale, we're moving into Crescent Lunge, spinning the left foot, the back foot, towards the front, lifting the heel. We draw our hands up like we would in Tadasana. Inhaling, straighten that front foot, sweep the hands down in front of you, and stop when you've reached a wide-legged forward fold. Facing both of our feet towards the front of the class, engage the fold all the way down, putting as much of a bend in your knees as you need today. Inhale, and open mouth exhale. Inhale again, and one more open mouth exhale. Inhale, sweeping the hands now to the left foot. You can frame it with both hands. We're going to rise into Crescent Lunge, sinking the hips just a few inches lower than we started, making sure we have that 90-degree angle in our front foot. We're aiming at having a straight back leg. Of course, any bend that you need today is perfectly okay. Inhale, set that back foot down at an angle, occupying the same lane as your front foot. We go into Warrior 2 again. Now on the left side. Really settle into this pose. If you've got the shakes, re-engaging that Ujjayi breath, drawing the core tight. We're trying to spin our hips open and isometrically grip the floor with our feet and drag them together, attempting to wrinkle in between our mat in between our legs. Inhale, drop the right hand to your thigh, bringing the left one up and engaging reverse warrior. Our feet stay exactly the same. Our legs stay with the same bend and angles. We inhale, windmilling the arms all the way down to the ground. Setting the left foot back into high plank. We'll be going into a Chaturanga Push-Up, a yoga push-up otherwise called. We'll take the first one very slow. Inhaling, shifting the weight forward, above or in front of your wrists. Exhaling, lowering less than halfway down in a tricep push-up. Inhaling, moving the body through the arms into upward facing dog, flipping the feet. And exhaling, hinging at the waist, drawing back into downward facing dog. Inhale, open mouth exhale. One more, inhale, and open mouth exhale. Chaturanga is used as kind of the reset point before moving into a flow or moving into the other side of a flow. It's a good opportunity to feel out how things are different in your body today. Inhale, shift the gaze forward between the hands. And exhale, coming up into high plank. We're going to go into some mountain climbers, and you can take these as fast or slow as you need or want to today. If you're looking for an extra sweat, this is the time to get it on. Otherwise, we're just drawing the knee up in between our shoulders, setting it back. Inhaling the next knee up through the shoulders and back. You can take these at your leisure to follow along with me. We'll be doing these for about 15 seconds. Here we want to make sure we're keeping a little bit of a bend in the elbows, especially if you're prone to hyperextension like I am. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you can lower all the way down to the ground. You can rest your head either on your hands or on the floor on your favorite side of your face. Take some open mouth exhales here. Inhale. Open mouth exhale. On your next inhale, prep your hands next to your chest, underneath your shoulder blades, tuck the toes, and press up all the way into high plank. We're going to go into a bit of a challenge, so I'll establish this in layers. You can step or hop your feet to the top of your mat, drawing up all the way, root to rise, into Tadasana mountain pose. We're going to start by floating our left foot back into that crescent moon lunge that we loved so much throughout this class. Settle into this lunge a little bit, seeing how low we can place the hips. Now get used to this bend in your front. We're trying to get to this 90-degree bend as much as we can. Inhale, step your left foot up to your right and engage Utkatasana chair pose, maintaining the bend in your right knee. We're trying to keep as low as we can. Option for hands either extended or at heart center. If you feel like a challenge, you can add a little bit of a pulse, seeing how much you can sink your hips back. Now, settle into some stillness here. Inhaling and engaging the twist, drawing the left elbow over to the right knee. We're trying to make sure that our legs stay even with each other. One knee isn't bulging out far over the other. We want them to be relatively equal. Why a novel on entering the chat? Ask my insurance company. If at any point any of these like challenges, the twists, the pulses, or anything like that become too much, you can engage in Utkatasana pose, chair pose, or feel free to come all the way down to the ground into kind of this ball. If you want to challenge even in that, bring your heels up off the floor. You can balance there. For those in the twist, disengage. Root to rise, Tadasana mountain pose. A little bit of a back bend if you feel like you need some outward expression from all that inward expression. Coming back to Tadasana. But now you know what's next. We're going to re-engage Utkatasana, this time just lowering down. Draw your hands to heart center. Here, to get more out of this pose, draw tightness into your core and try to tuck your tailbone underneath just even a little bit. We don't want these wide, probably can't see that with the shadow. We don't want these wide back bends. We don't want to be an arch. We want to be attempting a straighter line in the spine that anchors down to the ground. We can come back up to Tadasana mountain pose. Engage that back bend if you feel again. You can rest your hands just on top of your head for some preliminary palm tree. Maintain your breath, or get some open mouth exhales. And we'll draw back to Tadasana mountain pose. This time floating the right foot back into Crescent Lunge. When I was prepping this pose, I kicked my table like 6 times and almost broke that lamp, so I'm being extra conscious today. Again, trying to get that 90 degree in that front leg, making sure we're not shifting forward too much. You know what's next. More Utkatasana. Float that right foot, trying to maintain the bend. Of course, you can always stand up, go to Tadasana, and then engage your Utkatasana. Our next challenge is twisting to the left. So, inhaling the hands to heart center. We exhale, engaging the twist, bringing the right elbow to the left knee. If you've got shaken, me too. We've got this. We're almost done. Again, engage some open mouth exhales if you need the heat break. And inhale the hands up. Not quite done here yet. We're gonna go into some drinking bird. If you need a break, of course, straighten your legs. But if you're willing to keep going with me, we're going to inhale the arms back and up onto our toes. There will be shakes. You will have shakes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and set them down. Forward fold. Coming all the way to the ground with our hands, engaging as much of a bend in the knees as you need today. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, walk your hands out. Step your feet back to high plank. We'll do a Chaturanga Push-Up to finish off this flow. Inhaling, shifting forward. Exhale, lowering less than halfway down. Inhaling, pushing forward into upward facing dog. And exhaling, hinging at the waist, moving into downward facing dog. Here, take as many open mouth exhales as you need. Cooling down the body. But while you're focusing on getting that cool breath in, make sure we're pushing through from our hips all the way down to our ankles, even if you have bent knees today. Strengthening those hamstrings. Inhale, shift forward back into high plank. You can lower the knees, coming into tabletop. Take any little wiggles that your body feels like it needs. Neck cracks, adjust some clothes. We're gonna move into cool down. So, however you feel today, come to lie down on your back. I like to cross my legs by my hands and kind of roll through if I have the space for it. But as you're lowering down, go vertebra by vertebra, as controlled as you can. Once you're all the way on the ground, bring your knees to your chest, give them a hug, expressing some gratitude for supporting us in all those warriors, and especially in that, well, all of our variations of chair pose today. You can grip either on the front of your thighs, front of your thighs or the front of your shins. Just give them a hug. And then set your feet out on the floor. We're going to come into some reclined pigeon. Bringing your right foot across to your left knee, and flexing your right foot. Bringing our hands to the back of our thigh. You can knit them behind or grab the shin if that feels better for you. And just slowly pull that knee into the chest. Hello, Willow. Willow likes pigeons. Yes. You want to go lie down? Oh, go downward dog. If you feel like you need more out of this pigeon, you can always push on your right knee gently as you're pulling. Now they can't see Willow. But while gently pulling on that left thigh. Inhale, you can drop that right foot back to the floor. We'll do the other side. Drawing the left foot over the right knee and pulling that right thigh towards yourself, of course, fully reclined. As such. Another fun little trick for reclined pigeon is you can use your left elbow to kind of flare out and give some pressure to that left knee as you're pulling the right one towards your chest. This is generally the full expression that I take for reclined pigeon. I feel like it emulates the normal pigeon much better. You can inhale your feet back to the floor. Excuse me. Give your knees one last big hug. Go one at a time, even if you feel like it. And set our feet back down. Sending the left foot out long, flexing the ankle. Draw your right knee first up towards your chest, and then grabbing it with the left hand, pulling that knee towards the ground. If you need to shift your hips for this, feel free, but, whoa, you're gonna eat me? Jeez, Willow. But pulling that towards the floor. If you need to open your hips, feel free, but make sure that your shoulders remain anchored to the floor. If you've got space issues, a small space, you can always bend your arm at the elbow. Inhale your hips back to neutrality. Switching your feet, sending the right foot out long, bending the ankle, flexing the foot. Drawing the left knee up towards the chest. And then with the right hand, pulling that knee across the body and towards the floor. You can set your ankle on your thigh or in front of your leg, your outstretched leg, I should say. And this left arm can go fully extended or bent if that fits your space better. If you feel any pinching in this posture, try engaging the twist a little bit less. You can even, from on your back with your hips firmly placed on the ground, just draw that knee across until your left hip comes off the ground. And that can be enough of a engagement of this pose. That feels good in your body. That's all you need today. You can draw your hips back to neutrality, placing your feet on the ground. Today I'll be engaging a fish pose for my Shavasana. However, if you feel like taking a traditional corpse pose, this is your opportunity to take up space. If you're joining me in fish, you can draw your feet together, sending the knees out wide. Place your hands either at your side, or one hand on your chest and one hand on your stomach. As we begin to engage Shavasana, take 2 or 3 final Ujjayi breaths. In through the nose and out through the nose. Before settling into the space that you occupy right now. Detach ourselves from any controlled breath. And settle into the stillness of our bodies. As we lay here taking up space, I hope you felt the rise in your energy through the exertion of our bodies and are finding maybe a deeper stillness in the Shavasana, having exerted so much of that energy. But carry what energy you've risen in this practice with you for the rest of your day or the rest of your week, knowing that just a few deep breaths, or maybe even just one seated stretch, could be enough to give you the energy or the motivation you need to move to what's next. You are, of course, welcome to stay in Shavasana as long as you'd like. However, if you're ready to move back to the land of the living, start first by wiggling just one finger or one toe. Drawing awareness back to your breath. Maybe rotating out your wrists or ankles, but inviting movement back into the body slowly. You can make your way to a long body stretch, sending your feet and your legs out long. Put your hands and your arms above you. Taking one last inhale. And exhaling, bringing the knees to the chest, rolling onto one side or the other. You can use your bicep as a pillow. Taking one last supported posture for the rest of our evening. And when you're ready, with your eyes closed if you'd like, you can guide yourself up slowly and gently to an easy seat. Use the edges of your mat to guide you. As you come to that easy seat, I invite you to do one of two things. Either drawing your hands to your knees or as a bowl in your lap. Facing your hands open, our palms up. This is a gesture of openness to the world and the fortune that it can bring. We breathe in, imagining that cup or those cups on our knees filling with water. We exhale. One more inhale, filling those cups to the brim. With the energy in this cup, I invite you to bring your hands to heart center. Set an intention for the rest of your day or week or month. If you have goals that you know are coming up that you just want to pour some energy towards, put some thoughtful mindfulness towards those objectives, or even if your intention is something as easy as, I feel powerful, or damn, I'm sweaty, whatever your intention is today. Inhale through the nose to charge it. And exhale, open through the mouth, sending it into the world. Once more, inhaling. And open mouth, exhale. We guide our hands to third eye center, resting our thumbs comfortably on the brow. The light, the student, and the teacher in me acknowledges and expresses gratitude for the light, the teacher, and the student in you. We bow forward, sealing our practice. Thank you guys so much for coming to the Monday Night Reset. I hope you enjoyed the Vinyasa format for today. I really wanted to bring some energy as we're moving into these cold months, and especially as a lot of people, especially in my state, end up taking on more depression and anxiety and just kind of the general woes of life in these months that come ahead. So, this is your opportunity to drink some water and kind of marinate in the state that you're in. Hopefully, you've gotten some good energy out of this practice and you're now able to relax more fully for the rest of your evening, whether you're on to other streams, whether you're on to hanging out with friends and family, or if this is the end of your night. Then thank you for spending this time with me and investing this time in yourself. I want to express the gratitude for you for doing that for yourself today. I've been Ethan Klee. I'm a registered yoga teacher and owner of Flipside Yoga. We have Monday Night Reset every Monday night here on Twitch at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Oh, what else is there? We have a YouTube channel where all of our streams are uploaded on Fridays. All of those links are in our bio and everything. 100% relaxing. Yes, that's the objective. We also have a Twitter now, so if you're a Twitter person or a Facebook person or an Instagram person or a YouTube person or a Twitch person, for all people, all bodies, everyone, then we've got something for you, hopefully. So I really hope that you take the time for yourself, either with this practice or with just 5 minutes on your mat, just to set some intention and give some mindful awareness to yourself. That's all I have for this evening, and thank you guys so much for coming. I again really appreciate having this Monday night reset class and just being able to myself come here and let go of all of my worries from the beginning of the week, because I am an incredibly anxious person and I build up so much worry and fret about the week to come. And that's silly. And there's so many easy ways to rid ourselves of that energy. So if this is the one for you, I'm so glad that you're here and I hope that you continue to be here. I think that's all that I have to say for tonight. I'm going to go marinate in my sweat and my energy and get to my own 100% relaxation. Again, thank you guys so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you guys next week.